Welcome to the Therapy Show podcast. I'm your host, Lisa Mustard. In each episode, I interview a seasoned and knowledgeable talk therapist from the counseling world to glean valuable insights, techniques, and tools that you can apply to your practice and your life. And if you're considering a career in the counseling field or just want to hear about what it's like to be a talk therapist, then this is the podcast for you. Happy New Year, friends. I hope you had a wonderful holiday season as well as a fun New Year. We spent a week with family at the beach and then rang in the new year watching the Georgia Bulldogs beat Ohio State. And I gotta say, that was a nail biter of a game. And on top of that, we all came down with a cold funk in our house. So as you can hear, I'm still a little congested as I record this. But let's talk about this week's episode. Daniel Fava with Private Practice Elevation, who is also a member of the Site Craft Network, is here to tell us what we need to be doing with our websites so we can be found on the internet. I don't know about you, but I really don't want to rely on social media to bring me all my clients and business. Think about it. Social media is rented or borrowed property. Something happens, like it goes down. Remember when that happened in October 2021? And poof, your stream of clients is gone. But not if you have a website that is optimized to bring you new eyes and clients. And I really think a lot of people these days are leaving social media because, well, I know for a variety of reasons, I don't spend as much time on it as I used to. Which reminds me, if you want to connect and schedule a time to chat about your 2023 resolutions or goals, then grab a 20-minute consultation to see if I'm a good fit for your needs. I love helping midlife women get clear and focused on living their best lives as they enter their 40s and 50s. I've had my own midlife crisis and know what it's like to feel stuck and unsure of who I am as I age. Link in the show notes to book that call. I hope you enjoy this interview with Daniel and gain some valuable tips on how to get found on the internet with an optimized website. It's really not as difficult as you might think once you learn the whys and the hows of the process. Well, hey, friends, welcome back to another episode. I can't wait to share this topic with you all today. Daniel Fava of the Private Practice Elevation is here to share the 4 mountains of SEO. And I know that is a really, really juicy topic because we all want to know. I use the word juicy with SEO. I don't know about that.
Love it.
I went with it, Daniel. So everybody wants to know how to market their practice, market their course. They want to know how can people find them on the internet, and you are the man. So welcome to the show. Share a little bit about who you are and what you do with our listeners.
Yeah, sure. Well, thank you so much for having me, Lisa. I'm always looking forward to, not only talking to you, but talking about SEO because, I can geek out on this stuff. And I know that SEO is kind of there's so many parts to it. And so I hope that, kind of breaking this down today will be really helpful for your listeners. But yeah, so I run a business called Private Practice Elevation, and we basically help private practices reach their ideal clients online. We do that through website design and development, as well as search engine optimization services, both done for you and done with you. We've got an awesome live training group going right now that we're in the first launch of that. So have 9 awesome therapists learning how to create their own SEO strategy. So so we have that, and also WordPress care plans as well for folks who are just sick of working on their website and they're ready to just kind of delegate that stuff, and we take care of your website for you and take care of updates and stuff. So that's what I do, and live in Atlanta with my wife and 2 rambunctious little boys, and that's me.
And your wife's a therapist, right?
Correct. She's really part of my story and why I do what I do. Is when she launched her private practice back in like 2012, was really when I started learning more about how to market her business and the challenges of a therapist. And so she continues to be my guinea pig to this day, because I get to try stuff out on her website, and one of the things that I learn I try to apply to her website, and then the things I learn from the website I try to bring on my own podcast and to my clients.
Cool. Yeah. We could probably do a series of interviews on SEO and website development and WordPress management. Those are things that I found myself like struggling with when I first got going with my website. And I didn't know you existed back then. I wish I had, because I'd probably be working with you.
Here I am.
But okay. So let's talk about, I know the 4 mountains of SEO. That when you say mountains, like I'm picturing a hill to climb. So tell us about these hills, and how do we ascend these mountains.
Yeah, so well, maybe that's good feedback for me that maybe yeah, I don't want this to feel like something we need to trudge up these mountains. It's more of like these mountains are sort of the foundation or the pillars of SEO. And the reason why there's four of them is just a lot of people when they start out learning about search engine optimization, they go straight for I need keywords on my website in certain places. And that's one of the mountains is on-site optimization. So we'll get there, but there's really four things that need to be in place for a great SEO strategy to work. Because there's different aspects of each of these mountains that you're going to want to have. And that really creates a holistic search engine optimization strategy. So I'll just kind of lay them out there and then we can kind of dive into each and, you let me know what questions you have. But the four mountains are technical SEO, content, on-site optimization, and off-site SEO. And so let's kind of break this down. We'll kind of dive into each of these. So technical SEO, that has to do, just like the name suggests, it's some technical things there, but don't get too scared just because it's technical. There's just really a few things that you want to have in place. And for a web page to appear in search engine results, Google's got to be able to crawl through it. Like your website needs to be set up in the correct way. Otherwise, you might find, and we've had people, come to us and I can consult with them. They're like, I'm not able to be found on Google. Anytime I search in anything related to my website, it doesn't come up. And it turns out that Google has actually never crawled through the website, meaning Google hasn't looked at your content, looked at your website. It's unable to access it. So you could spend all this time and money trying to optimize content on your website only to find that, oh, some of this technical stuff wasn't even in place. And so there's a few things that we check for when we assess a website and see how it's set up. And we won't get too deep into this because it is technical, like I said. But the good news is that a lot of this stuff 90% of the time is already taken care of. If you're on Squarespace or if your website is correctly set up on WordPress and you're using like a plugin like Yoast SEO, it takes care of a lot of this stuff. Some stuff is a little bit more manual that you need to kind of check in on. But some of the things that we want to be aware of for the technical SEO piece is a file called robots.txt, which is something, again, that's sort of automatically set up. But sometimes you can get some code in there that says, don't crawl through the website. If it's not set up correctly, then Google won't be able to see that. So that's something we check for. One of the most important components of technical SEO is your sitemap. So you should have what's called an XML sitemap that's set up on the website. Again, that's something that for the most part, Squarespace or whatever platform you're on will already have that on there. And so that just makes it really easy for Google to see all the pages on your website and go through. And one more thing that I'll throw out about the technical piece that's become really important, and we can kind of leave the technical piece there, is speed. That's become more and more important for websites, is that your website loads quickly. And so some things that you want to do for that is to make sure that if you're on WordPress, you're using a great theme. I prefer the Divi theme or the Elementor theme, themes that you unfortunately, or to me, fortunately, you have to pay for to use, because that means the code is really good and they're constantly trying to make it load faster. And another thing you want to be aware of is images on your website. You don't want to upload an image that's 4,000 pixels wide and then use it in a little spot on your website that's just like maybe 400 pixels wide, because your website's going to have to do all that work to resize it and show it there. So that's some of the technical SEO components.
Okay, that's really helpful. And I think back to my old website, the one that crashed and burned a few weeks back. And that was a whole other thing. And maybe you'll touch on it as we get going. But does technical also include what I seem to have? I got a virus, or I had malware attack my site. I think I know where it came from, but is that something that you also add into the technical side of SEO?
Yeah, definitely. And that's sort of the more manual stuff. Like I said, some of the technical pieces, they should be kind of just set up, ready to go. Every once in a while, you might have an issue with that, but I recommend that everyone have a Search Console set up with their website. Most people have heard of Google Analytics, but Search Console is Google's SEO focused platform for data around SEO on your website, and that's going to show you some errors that might come up if something gets flagged. When there is malicious code, that often shows up in Google Search Console. It'll also let you know if a page is not, if the mobile usability of a page is low. So it'll say, things like, make more space for buttons for people to click on, and that could impact your SEO as well. So Search Engine Console, it's one of those things that we have our clients set up, and we're working with them on SEO. It's something that we check in mostly on like a weekly basis just to see if there's any major errors that are going on there. But sometimes that can highlight and flag some of that stuff that we can take care of.
Gotcha. Okay. That's really important. That's really helpful. If somebody is brand new to wanting to start their own website, and it doesn't have to be private practice related, what would be some just, kind of best practices for just getting started with a new website? If you're brand new, you want to put a course out there, you want to start your practice. Like I know you said you can do Squarespace, you can do WordPress. Are there any other, just off the top of your head, other advice or tips you got?
I would say really, at a high level, like focus on your content, because and that'll be really the next mountain that we get to here is content. You want to make sure that you're not just putting up a website. People aren't just going to show up if you just put up a website, especially a brand new one. That's going to take time for Google to see it and start sending it traffic and rank it for keywords. But if you don't have enough content on the website, it's not going to start ranking. So a lot of people come to us and are in that place. So I've heard about SEO. I love the idea of people just showing up to my website, and I don't have to really go out and maybe do like in-person networking and stuff like that. Like all that stuff is super helpful. But yeah, I'd love to get more people showing up to my website, but no one's showing up now. And then we go and look at the website, and we literally have somebody in our training group now, which I'm super glad that he's there. His website was a one-page website. So you can't have specific content for all your different, ideal clients that you're trying to reach, or maybe your different specialties that you offer that you help your clients with in your practice. You can't get into a lot of detail on one page, So that's always the first thing we look at is, do they have enough content on their website? Is that content really broken out into specific pages focused on those specific keywords?
Okay. Really, really important and really helpful. Do you suggest that people have like a space on their site for like a blog or content or new, how do you
Yeah,
recommend?
definitely. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the second mountain here, and that is content. And so there's four things that we want to have for, great for content to really impact your SEO. And that's quality is number one. Like you want great quality content. A lot of the times that might mean that you add more content to the website. And I mean, like literally more words to the page. And a lot of times when you can really get into depth, let's say like you're working on a couples therapy in Atlanta page, and you want that page to be high quality. So you really want to explain, what are the challenges that couples are having? How can couples therapy help them? How can you specifically help them? And like really dive into and treat this like, this person's only going to be on this page on my website. What can I tell them? So have images on that page. Sometimes you add even videos. And so that is quality content. Like think of this as like a really good resource for your ideal client. The other piece is you want to have the right keywords, on that page, and have those keywords repeated throughout the content. We'll talk more about on site in that when we talk about that mountain. So you don't want to have a page about couples therapy and then nowhere on that page mention couples therapy if that's what, clients are looking for. And the other piece is recency, and that's where the blog comes in. So you want to make sure that your website is continuing to grow with content and is up to date. You can, from time to time, go into your landing pages and make updates and add more content to it. But a blog is just a great, straightforward way that you can add every month new content to the website in the form of those articles. Blogs are great because you can answer specific questions, and questions can be keywords, an entire question. How many sessions of couples therapy do I need to go to? Like you can talk about your whole process in a blog and then link that blog back to that couples therapy page. So that's recency, and then relevancy. Like you want to make sure your content and your blog is relevant to your ideal clients. Sometimes I think it was more popular like back in the day to have like your blog was kind of like a journal almost. And so you would see, or I would see, when I was, consulting with people, these blogs on their website, these articles. And when you look at the title, you're like, I have no idea what that is going to be about. Like, and it's like, winter morning, or something like that. It's like just kind of reflections. And I think there is a place for that. But if you are really focused on getting your ideal client to show up, then that's not going to be an article that's really going to help you. It might be a way to connect with people and share more of your personality and thoughts, and that sort of like, know, and trust factor. But as far as getting people to the website organically from Google, those journal type entries aren't really going to do it for you.
I know how important it is to build a brand on social media, and I also know how time consuming it can be. So I want to help save your time and energy, and let me help you with your content creation. Head over to my Etsy shop, Honey Mustard Media, or click the link in the show notes. You'll find Instagram templates that can be edited in the free version of Canva. You can use them as is or change the colors, fonts, pictures, words to match your brand. It's easy and simple. And I'll be adding more editable templates soon, so be sure to favorite my shop, once again called Honey Mustard Media, and you'll be notified when I add more listings. Plus, right now you can get 30% off all templates. Y'all, I've done the heavy lifting of creating the templates with quotes and images. All you need to do is add your personal touch to the templates, like your website or social media handles. And if you have any questions, feel free to message me over on Etsy or Instagram, or send me an email at support@lisamustard.com. Gotcha. Makes complete sense. I was just kind of thinking of a friend who's a colleague also, and he worked so hard on his blog content, and he was so specific on his topic, his SEO. I just remember talking to him one day, and I was like, "Are you doing any type of like Google ads?" He's like, "No, I'm really focusing on content and SEO." And a few months later, he told me, he's like, "I'm so booked, like I have to refer out now." And I said, "What do you attribute that to?" And he said, "I think it's because of the content. I was so specific about the niche, and it just brought me so many local folks." And I was like, it works, he put together a course, and he didn't even really market it. He just wrote a couple blog posts about it, and he sold the course without having to do much marketing at all. So it just goes to show, like, when you get it down, it really can just blow up for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that makes me think of one of the clients that we worked with recently. He for the longest time, he was getting so much traffic on basically like 2 or 3 blog posts, very specific to like avoidant attachment style. And they continue to get him a ton of traffic. And Google changed something with their algorithms, and he changed something on the website. And so he came to us 6 months ago and was like, my traffic has totally crashed. Like people aren't calling me, people aren't reaching out. And we did one of our foundational SEO projects with him, and it turned it back around. And I just spoke to him last week, and he's like, yeah, I'm more busy. I have more people calling me than I can, handle right now. So content, it can really be like the fuel for those organic referrals. And the same thing happened with my wife's practice in 2012 when she had no clients, and she's like, what do we do? I'm like, well, let's just start blogging. And so she, for like 2 or 3 months, she had a blog post every week. And some of those blog posts are still 10 years later bringing in the most traffic, like to her website. Like out of all the content on her website, there's a few blog posts that are getting the most traffic, which is, it's cool. Like she wrote that years ago, and now, knowing what I know about SEO and just helping our clients, I can go back into that content, and we've done that. We've optimized it even further to, get more life out of it.
That's so cool. Really, that's just amazing. I'm so glad that you like doing this stuff. Like this is your
That's where I
thing.
geek out. That's where I geek out. And I did the same thing with my own business. When I first started in 2016, it was just, I was a little bit more focused on tutorials and teaching and stuff like that. So, like you said, I got specific, and I was answering specific questions about WordPress, about website design for therapists. And I created a site, createmytherapistwebsite.com. And that was really, it was a blog. And I did that weekly a blog post every week for like about 2 years, and it still gets a lot of traffic. And it's kind of there, to be honest. I haven't touched it in a while because I've kind of switched to private practice elevation and building our agency, but it's still bringing in a lot of, a lot of people joining our email list and seeing our resources.
That's really amazing. I love that you can just kind of, put all this time and energy up, up front. And if you do it right the first time, it can really show up for you a few months later. And I think that's just kind of the lesson of how long this might take. But don't what's the word I'm looking for? Like instead of seeing it as this uphill climb, like just what Daniel's saying, like get ahead of it and start now thinking, even if you're not sure what you want to do when you come out of grad school, or if you're thinking about going to private practice, like go ahead and start the outline of what you want. Okay, cool. Well, this is awesome. All right, so number 3 is on-site optimization. What is that?
Yeah. So once you kind of have a picture like, okay, what content needs to be on the website, and what that might look like is, back to my example of our one the one person in our course who had a one-page website. We kind of work through and kind of teach how do you decide what content needs to be on the website. Most of the time that comes down to having a specific landing page for each of your services and or specialties. So you realize, okay, I need to put a landing page for this service on the website. So you write that content, you explain that service. Now you need to make sure that it's optimized, you do on-site optimization, which basically means making sure that Google can really understand what the page is about. And that's where we want to plug in keywords. And there's 4 main ways that we do that, 4 things that we really look for. Number 1 is the headers on the page. Sometimes what happens is people will, if they're building their own website, you've got those in the content editors, you'll see like H1, H2, H3. And what a lot of people do is they think, oh, I want this text to be big, so let me pick H1. And so that people will use it more of like a design thing, but it's actually more of a hierarchy of the content. So like if you're looking up something on Wikipedia, they always have that that content list right there on the top, and it's a nice outline, starting with the first header and then the second one and the bulleted list and that sort of thing. And so that's how you can kind of think about the content on a page. And there should really only be one H1 on the page, and that is really the title of the page. Your main keyword, your focus keyword should be up there, and then you can use the other following H2s, H3s to kind of create that hierarchy of the content and make sure that your keyword is appearing in those headers. It also helps for people to skim through, because people are short of attention spans right now. And so it helps people to skim through the content and find what they need. So that's one piece, is the headers. The other one is page titles and meta descriptions. And that's where you want your keywords to appear in there. Each platform is a little different on how you do that, but you should have a title for the page. And then also the meta description is basically just a brief description. What is the page about? But you want to make sure you have a couple keywords, in there. And it's usually you only have enough room for like 1 or 2 sentences. But that's what's going to appear on Google. When somebody types in couples therapy in Atlanta and you see all the results, you'll see the title and that meta description. So if you just leave it blank on your platform where you create your web pages, it's going to pull in whatever is there. So you want to put some thought into that to make sure that you've got content in there. And other things to think about for on-site is alternative text for images. That's where you can put some keywords behind those images on the page. And another thing we like to do is have internal links. And so that's where you could, if you mention something, maybe you've written a blog post that goes along with your couples therapy page, you can link those together, and that helps Google crawl through the website quicker and again, understand what the content's about.
Okay. Okay, this is so helpful. I'm like thinking about my website. Like, okay, I did that. I did that. I'm just like making sure
Good.
as I kind of get my new website up and running, I'm like, okay, I need to make a note of all these things to definitely make sure we're doing. Okay, so it's so helpful. All right, so number 4 is offsite SEO. What the heck is that? I don't even know. I'm not sure what that is.
Yeah, so offsite, I mean, the simplest explanation is anything that can impact your SEO that's not actually on your website. So there's some external signals, such as things that happen with Google Maps or links from other websites, and social media. Those 3 things can help Google understand your authority. When your website has been around for a long time and lots of people are referring to it, meaning other websites are linking to it, it shows Google that you have some authority. Your business is established. People like you, so they refer to it, but in the way of linking to it. And another thing is that having Google Maps and other business directories where you put your location, that can help with your local SEO. So if somebody in your area, within a certain radius of your business, looks up couples therapy, and that's the service that you have, we want those people to be able to find you. So offsite takes care of that stuff. And kind of the quickest way to get started is make sure that you've got a Google business profile and you fill that out, every detail that you can that's relevant to your business. Fill out that profile, and that's sort of step number one. And then the next step is to look for ways to get links from other websites. So you could put your business in free business directories that allow you to just have a link back to your website, or you can take it to the next level, and that is kind of like what we're doing right now is podcast interviews. Maybe you've got expertise that you can share on someone else's podcast, or you can write a guest post on someone else's website, and those things can link back to your website and build that authority.
Yeah, I think that's really important. I like that tip. And that's kind of one thing I didn't understand in the beginning. I just thought get on podcasts and, explain who I am and what I do. And from there, people will discover me. But what I've noticed is that it really helps my Google, the SEO, like analytics. I see the links, like where traffic's coming from. And also I want to just give a props for that Google My Business or I don't know what they're calling it now, something.
They keep changing it.
Yeah.
Google
But
Business Profile.
that's it. Yeah. And I really want to encourage people to really make use of that because I got a coaching client from that. Like when I asked the person how they found me and this person said on the internet, this is what I typed in. And I was like, okay, this is
That's
working.
great.
So
Yeah.
just be and update it at least once a week. Put a post in there, put an update in there, even if it's kind of a repetitive thing. I don't think I don't think that they care so much about what you're putting in there if it's a repeat as much as if you're using it. Do you have any insight into that?
I think it's very similar to, we talked about having blog posts on your website. Like Google just likes things to be recent and up to date. So, typically what we do is when we publish a new optimized article on someone's website, we'll take that link, we'll write a little blurb and put it on their Google Business profile. And so you could have a link from that little blurb on your Google Business profile, go back to your website. So it could help with your SEO, and it can also just drive some traffic to your website as well. So yeah, keep it up to date.
Okay. Yeah. Because what I do is every time I have a new podcast episode or, some type of information about the episode, I'll go in and make a post. So I'm probably posting there at least one time a week, possibly twice a week, just depending on if I remember to do it or it gets on my, things to do list. And okay, so this has just been super helpful. Now, are these things that your agency helps with? Let's say there's a therapist out there and they're like, Daniel, I get it. I need to do these things. Like, help me out. I
Yeah.
know you mentioned you have different ways they can work with you. Can you go over those once again, just so we have a clear picture of where people are in the process and what they might need?
Absolutely. So one thing that I love about SEO is that it's like building blocks, like to me, and it wasn't for the longest time. And it came, through working with our clients and sort of realizing where some of our services maybe didn't solve their challenge the way that I wanted it to. Like we've kind of revamped things in the last year. So we've got a very nice sort of staircase approach for folks, no matter where they're at. So if somebody comes to us and they say, I really want to start working on my SEO strategy, we always start with an SEO assessment. And so we go into the website and we've got sort of these metrics that we're looking for based on these four mountains of SEO that we talked about. So we go in and we look at the technical pieces and we do all the tests to make sure that their sitemap is loaded correctly. There isn't duplicate sitemaps, which happens sometimes, and testing their page speed. So we need to understand a baseline of where is the website at, where is the content at, is the on-site and off-site, how much of that do you have in place? And some people might have some people might have none, but we need to know, what are we starting with? So from the assessment, we can make suggestions about like, here are your biggest opportunities. again, you might not know that your sitemap is broken, but this will give you a sense of where you're at, so you can really start building your plan. So that's step number one, is that SEO assessment, and then from there, once we know where the website's at, where we're going, we have our SEO base camp, and so that is it's a one-time project over the course of about 4 to 6 weeks, where we take care of some of the stuff we learned in the assessment, make sure that everything is in the right place. Other things we do during that project is your keyword research. From your keyword research, then we know what content needs to be on the website or which pages need to be updated. And so we put together a whole plan and a checklist that we'll work through to make sure that each of the pages are optimized. And I'm trying to think what else we do. Oh yeah, we create a content calendar. So once you know what keywords that you are going to write for to reach your ideal client, we can come up with some blog post topics that you can write about. Or if you go on to our monthly package, we will write that content for you. We'll help build backlinks, and we can help with the local SEO as well. We've got different tiers for that. So that's kind of the staircase approach that we take, is the SEO assessment, which leads into that SEO Basecamp project, and then our monthly SEO maintenance. Because once you have that foundation in place, you want to continue to add content to it to make sure that your website stays updated and relevant, and that really can exponentially bring in that traffic into the future.
Yeah. Okay. So helpful. So helpful. And I like how and to me, it makes sense. Because I've been through this process, and I know, at the beginning, it was almost like a foreign language to me. I didn't really understand it. But now that I'm kind of on the other side, I'm like, okay, yes, I can attest to, we need these things to grow our visibility, to grow our brand, and then ultimately to grow, our business or our income. So I definitely am right with you when you say all these things need to be in place, because it does work. When you have it right, it really works. So it's something I think is really an important investment, from before you, maybe as you're just kind of thinking about what you want to put out there. Like, it's not so much you've got, because everybody wants to know, oh, I got to create this course, I want to create continuing education and do all these things. Well, let me tell you, that's the fun part. The fun part
Yeah.
is creating the content and the course, but the hard part is the marketing. And I think a lot of the times we don't give enough attention to that before we start, because it really does, you have to market, and your website is going to be that a big part of your marketing arm. So I'm really thankful you came on and gave us all this good stuff. So if people listening want to work with you or learn more about you, where should they go?
They can just go to privatepracticeelevation.com and I do a free 15-minute clarity call to get started, just to learn a little bit more about you and your business. And if you're a good fit for what we do, then we'll actually book a free 45-minute strategy call just to assess your website, look through it, understand your biggest opportunities. And yeah, then we can put together a project for you. So yeah, that's it.
Oh, that's so great. So it's almost like you're getting a free checkup before you even commit to working together. It's
Yeah,
really nice.
I've got this really, I love it. We have this, we give our potential clients homework. So just a heads up, if you want to work with us, like, there's some stuff that you got to do first. So we send a website accelerator scorecard. And so you go in and you can score your online presence, based on some different factors that make for a great online presence, such as your website design. Is your website converting? Are you getting traffic from Google? Do you have the right content in place? All that sort of stuff. So it gives us a starting point for you to know where you're at, and then I can make some suggestions. And even if we don't work together, you should have a pretty clear picture of what you'll need to really impact your online presence and business.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a really nice opportunity to get some feedback. So thank you. And if you guys do end up giving him a call, be sure to mention to Daniel that you heard about him on the podcast, just so it's always nice to know where traffic's coming from. I mean, I definitely will put all the information in the show notes. But if you do reach out to Daniel, just let him know you heard him on the therapy show with Lisa Mustard, just so I know if I'm able to, like, it's one way to assess my marketing. I think that's really cool. And if not, that's okay. I won't be upset. But thank you so much for all this wisdom and all this knowledge. I know it's definitely works for me when I have all of my mountains or pillars up, in line. So is there anything else you want to share before we go?
No, I don't think so. I'm just yeah, it's fun to geek out on this stuff for me. So thank you for having me, Lisa. I appreciate it.
Oh yeah. No, you're welcome. Looking to start 2023 off with knocking out some continuing education contact hours? If so, then be sure to check out my pod courses. Currently, there are 12 to choose from, and there are a variety of topics. Learn more about play therapy, addiction treatment, creating a self care plan, meditation, and Ayurvedic life coaching, plus many more. But how does it work? So you'll listen to the content anytime, anywhere, and when you're ready, purchase the course, take the self study quiz, pass it, and then download your certificate of completion. I think it's simple and easy, yet if you have any questions, please get in touch with us. And by the way, Mustard Consulting is a NBCC approved provider. So head over to my site to get your pod courses. Plus, you can still get your first one for free. However, just so you know, this free offer will be going away in the near future. So head to the site, sign up for a free pod course before it's too late. I'll then email you a code you can enter at checkout to get your first pod course at no charge. Hey guys, before we end this episode, if you are liking my content, if you're liking my podcast, be sure to go over and leave me a 5-star review on the podcast platform of your choice. And if you are up for it, I'd love it if you left me a review as well. Well, that wraps up another episode of the Therapy Show with Lisa Mustard. I know there are hundreds of thousands of podcasts out there, and I'm thankful you've chosen to listen to mine.
Be sure to visit lisamustard.com to access the show notes and discover more fantastic content.
And I'd be grateful if you subscribe to the show. Thank you.